And another thing, right? You have a conversation with somebody or an argument, and you think it's over, and then they come back in. And another thing, I got one more thing to say to you. That's kind of where I'm starting off this video. And one more thing I want to say about this do for self stuff. Um, we're living in some dangerous times, politically, economically, socially. If you ask anybody who's lived on the planet for any length of time, they'll tell you that in many cases, it feels similar to some things, but it's never been quite like this, with this type of leadership, with this type of turmoil, with this type of uncertainty, with this type of civil unrest. It's never been like this. It's unprecedented, except, and I heard somebody say this, except what you read in the scriptures, right? So there's some mirroring, I think I'm pronouncing that right, of some things that we've seen when nations begin to fall, crumble, dissipate. So that's a similarity, and I'll save that. We'll put a pin in that, and we'll come back to that in another video. But the warning signs, they're everywhere. We've been talking about massive layoffs. We've been talking about the introduction of fast advancing technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, and the like. We haven't talked much about rising prices, but everybody's experiencing it. And there is no sign of prices going back down. And if they do, here's the thing that some economists are warning. And I've even said this in a report. I'm refreshing one of my reports that I wrote over a decade ago, actually almost 15 years ago, if not longer, about the dollar. And one of the challenges is, of course, that we talk about inflation, but there's also the possibility that with what's happening globally, there may be a deflation first, and that could be even worse, right? So you start to hear conversations about stagflation, right? that's where it's caught between deflation and inflation. So there's stagflation. So we got to stay tuned to that, right? Keep your fingers on the pulse, and that's what your brother's trying to do. I'm trying to keep my fingers on the pulse and report back to you. But that is a rising concern of economists. Yes, inflation, but the way that the global economy works, that there may be a drop in prices. And for some, that's going to sound good because prices are coming down, but that's not a great thing when the value, right? So as a consumer, you're like, man, I want to buy something. But as a producer or someone with inventory, a product or service, prices are dropping. That's not good for you and your bottom line. We'll talk about that again at another time. But these are the things that are part of the warning signs of these dangerous times that we're living in. Global tension. Whew, I hadn't even mentioned that. We're, at the time of this recording, Israel has just launched strikes in Iran, and Iran is responding. Russia, Ukraine, other parts of Europe beginning to be very concerned with that. Trying not to say something that causes video to get banned. So let's just say global tensions are rising all over the globe. There's even talk, because a lot is happening at the border. I know even in America, there's this whole immigration thing, but something else is happening at the border as it relates to the drugs and violence. And there's even talk that maybe America needs to invade certain parts of Mexico to stop the cartels from smuggling fentanyl. This is, again, dangerous times, brothers and sisters. But yet, too many of us are still waiting. We're waiting on the government, a political savior, right? Or we're waiting on a grant. that appears to be being cut out. We're waiting on, even though we're watching employers shed jobs and listening to them voice their concern about the economy and voice their concern about AI replacing jobs. We're hearing this. Again, we're like the monkey. We hear no evil, we see no evil, and we speak no evil. We're hearing it and we're watching it, but yet we are still waiting on them to act differently than what we're seeing. I even heard one brother say that he's just trying to make enough money. I want my job to pay me enough so that I can leave the country. I said, brother, good luck that they're going to fund your exodus like that, to where you can just quit and leave and live a luxurious life somewhere outside of America. I mean, but these are the thoughts, the thinking that's happening amongst the people in America. And I like to say we're still waiting on someone to give us permission. So in the do for self economy, in my book, I stress that probably a gazillion times. In the Black Entrepreneurial Revolution, the link is somewhere around here. Go get the book. Again, this is something to spark the thinking, the mindset, some strategies to get going in this do for self economy. But I stress over and over again, or at least a few times in the book, that we're waiting on permission. We're waiting on someone to tell me that I have permission to be myself, to do for myself. I need someone to tell me why. God already told me that. Why am I waiting on you? To think about it. You're waiting on someone who is not qualified to give you permission to do what God already qualified you to do. Damn, I need to write that one down myself. That was pretty good. But here's the truth. That time is over, of waiting, of asking, of hoping that these things work themselves out. That time is over. It's no longer smart to just want to do for self, right? I'm talking to people, and it's literally, they have no choice. It's like being caught between a rock and a hard place. They don't want to do for self, but the employment picture or the job situation, it's so terrible, and they'll just flat out, I don't even want a job. So you don't want a job, you don't want to do for self. What are you going to do? Right? What is left? What is the option? If we don't learn how to create our own income, become income generators and creators, if we don't learn how to monetize our skills, the unique talents and gifts and strengths and passions that we have, if we don't build something that belongs to us, that you can call your own. This is my book, right? Right. Something that you can call your own, and other products and services and other intellectual property that you can call your own. If we don't think about doing this, we're going to get left behind. And I don't even know if that's the appropriate term, or that's the term that we've gotten so used to. If you don't do this, we're going to get left behind. Black folks are behind. And I get it, but it's really much more severe than that. You know, sometimes when you're walking with somebody on the same path, hurry up or you're going to get left behind. No, this is not about getting left behind. If you don't do something for self, and again, this doesn't just mean by yourself, it means collectively. If we don't do something for self, we face being priced out, pushed out, replaced by machines, robots, other ethnicities. I don't want to go as far as to say extinct. We've had people say that there was a book written, oh, I forget the author's name right now, to pop into my head probably after I finish the video. But it was specifically talking about Black men at that time, Black men becoming obsolete, You can almost say there's a segment of people that want Black people to become obsolete and extinct. And here's, I'm not trying to scare. That's the thing about speaking truth and dealing in reality and dealing with the world in which we now live, that sometimes you risk people thinking that you're being, a fear monger, or you're trying to scare people, like I don't even watch the news because I get it. I understand we don't want negative energy and all of that good stuff. I'm with you. I don't want any negative energy around me, draining me. But we have to be prepared for the world in which we now live. The systems that we've depended upon for over 100 years, they're more than just cracking. They're crumbling. Right before our eyes, we're watching the systems that we depended on crumbling. And of course, I know someone is they're thinking right now, it's because of the president. It's because of these things were crumbling long before this guy was in office. And in fact, try this shoe on for size. The things that he's doing, he's trying to preserve them. The systems were so bad that it's beginning to cripple them. So this is why they're cutting back, or he's cutting back, because now they're trying to preserve them. This is why it's doubly important that we realize that they don't have our best interests. I was going to say in their heart, but hell, it's not even in their mind, in their subconscious. They're not thinking about our longevity, the health of our husbands, wives, and children. It's just not a thought. So as George would say, one of his white friends would tell him, he said, George, I know Black people's problem, right? If we're not thinking about you and you are not thinking about you, who is thinking about you, right? So they're not even thinking about us, but we're neglecting to think about ourselves. We're neglecting to do for self. So let me wrap this up. I already said the systems are cracking. The opportunities that we once had in these systems, again, they vanish. It's not even that they're disappearing. They're gone. But here's the good news. So, brother B, you better come with some good news after all of this that you just shared. Like, call me the Debbie Downer. No, here's the good news. You're standing, I'm standing on a mountain of value, a gold mine. We have unique talents, skills, and gifts that were given to us by our Creator. We've been able to experience these systems, and we've accumulated knowledge. We have wisdom. We have experience. We have insight. And again, when we tap into ourselves, we have tremendous creativity. We keep resigning creativity to the arts, right? The artists and the music and the sports. We say, oh, they're so creative, but no, we have creativity to build, to produce, to design our lives, our products, our services, our solutions, our relationships. We can do all of that right now. We can take, I said this in an interview just yesterday that I was for a magazine just yesterday. I said, we're all media companies and intellectual property companies now, because now we have the capacity, the internet and these tools, the phone and these different platforms and AI, that we can take everything that I just shared, your knowledge, your wisdom, your experience, your expertise, your relationships, your creativity, your story, all of these things now you can craft and design and put them into digital products and services, whether it's a digital product, membership, community, network, coaching programs, consulting programs. You put them in books, you can start movements, you can host events, you can have, and again, this doesn't stop you from creating what some will call a real business, meaning, physical or tangible products, but it's going to start with your thinking about it, your creativity, your relationships, to make sure that you can create something where you can add and create value, and it's cost effective and it's affordable, but it's going to be you. It's not going to be them anymore. That's the point. Do for self, or else we're going to suffer some consequences that we don't want to suffer. I'm wrapping this up. You and I have everything that we need. The only thing that we have to do is make the decision to just start. Just like I have to make the decision, Brother B, just press record. I got to make that decision to shoot this video or to create this video and to share what's in my mind and in my heart. I have to press record. I have to make a decision and not regret it. No matter if somebody doesn't like this or not, I'm doing me. I'm doing for myself. You and I have to make the decision to start doing for self. And again, that's why I wrote, hoping that this could be a key, right? Like an ignition to start, right? A key. The M.O.B network is a key. I created the scorecard, the Black Entrepreneur Scorecard. It's a key. Things that could help start you on this journey. That's going to take time. Get out of if I don't have this thing done in 7 days, I ain't doing it. It ain't gonna happen. That's why it's critically important to find something that you love, that you're passionate about. And when I say that, I don't mean that because I hear people say, no, you got to make some money, forget what you love and passionate. That's fine too, make some money. But if you don't find something that you're going to stick with, you're just going to be just going with the wind, every which way the wind blows. But when you find something that you're built for, you're going to grab hold and you're going to ride that thing until the wheels fall off. And that means you're going to go on a journey of ups and downs, but ultimately you're going to be much happier, much more fulfilled. And if you just learn the strategies and the skill set to generate income around that and be unique, don't be a transactional person, but a relational person, developing relationships, there's a way to construct and generate income around who and what you are. But I can't tell you what that is. You got to find out what that is by getting in the game, getting on the journey. So let me get up off my soapbox. Like I said, and I got another thing, like one of the old guys. I'll close it with this. Don't wait another month. Don't wait another year. Don't wait another week. Start today. Because if you don't start today, if you don't do this now, we all got to ask the question with everything that's happening now. Is it going to be a time later? Situations are going to keep changing. We're literally in the do for self economy where we have to do for self, or else we're going to be involved in some other stuff that we have no clue what's going to happen. This is your brother Bedford, and I'll see you in the next video.